Hey folks, Dr. D here. So we're back. So with the help of a friend, I was able to get the axle back under the Jeep. It's basically just up on jack stands. I was able to get the lower control arm bolts in on both sides. It actually wasn't as much of a hassle as I was expecting. I just kind of had to line it up. It's not worth it. So on the right, I have some new hardware. 4 bolts from regionoffroadparts.com. Put this guy back in here. Put this in here. Oops, like that. There's a hole here that runs through the frame, and this is where that bolt's going to go. You can see right here, it's kind of lined up nicely. I'm just going to slide it through that hole. Looks like we got it all lined up. Life is good. So that's in, and it's through on the other side. So we have the upper control arm loosely attached at the frame, and I was able to adjust the axle. A little bit of screwdriver through there just to hold it in place. Perfect. All right, so that's now in place. We're back on the passenger side now. So we have the other upper control arm, and there it is. It's matching up. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Right, screwdriver through. Find the holes. There we go. We're lined up. So the passenger side upper control arm is seated. There is the bolt and nut axle side. And here's the bolt and nut on the frame side. We got our last bolt on for the upper control arms. And again, none of these are tightened down. They're just on there to secure them. So we're back under the XJ. I just got finished loosely installing the track bar. So I just went around and I tightened the lower control arm bolts and the upper control arm bolts and the track bar. I haven't torqued it yet. I just made them tight enough that I could put some weight on the axle and it wouldn't wobble all over the place while I compress my spring and install those back. The other thing I did, I ran the vent hose, which is this guy right here, from the diff, where it came from, and it's now popping out right here, and I'm still keeping it covered up just because I don't want it to leak anywhere. So I'm just going to compress these and do them one side at a time, then we'll get the weight on the axle, which is where we want it. So after some struggles with the spring compression tool, we were able to get the driver's side coil on. I'm leaving it uncompressed for now, and then I'll come back to it and just make sure it's properly seated, and then we'll do the other one. So we're back. I just wrapped up installing the front coil spring on the passenger side. So both of our springs are in. So I have installed my newly cleaned up knuckles. They're only hand tightened. I'm not going to torque anything down until I absolutely need to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to install there's a little tab here that goes over the spring to keep it from moving around. I do think I want to put that into place just because as I'm moving things up and down, I don't want the springs to move around. All right, folks, here we are. I cleaned these up, and I had some red caliper paint around, so I figured, why not make these exciting? All right, folks, that one's all installed. We'll go over to the other one. So we are going to be torquing the ball joint castle nuts on the knuckle. From what I understand, ones on the bottom are 80 foot-pounds. One on the top is 75 foot-pounds. You should do the bottom one first, and then do the top one. So the one on the bottom is a 1 1/8. So I have my torque wrench. Set up for 80 foot-pounds. Let's just tighten it on. All right, that's 80. 7/8. All right, so what we're going for here is there's a hole in the bolt that I need to match up with one of the indentations on the castle nut so that I can drive my cotter pin through. Right, perfect, look at that. So that's all lined up. This guy, we're lined up right here. So, all right, folks, so we're gonna seat our cotter pins here and lock them off. So it's gonna slide this in all the way through. It's gonna lock. There's a long end, there's a short end. So we're going to take the long end here. Great, on this one, we're just perfect. All right, so there we go. We got the one bent back. This one's locking in place. There's no way that that castle nut can get off of there, which really is the whole idea. All right, so now we'll do the same thing with this one. On the top, I'll put it up so you can see what I'm doing here. Same thing on the top. We're going to slide it through. We're going to grab our long side over here. We're going to bend it back on top of itself. Bang in place. Over here, maybe I'll flip it around just to make it easier for me to work on. No, you can't see, but you get the idea. Alright, and here's how we're looking over here. So we have the one bent under, and this one here is just going to be straight. So it's going to keep this from unscrewing. That's all there is to it. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and we're good to go. Hey folks, Dr. D here, and we're back. So we have the other knuckle on, the cotter pins are in, and it's torqued up, 80 on the bottom, 75 on the top. Things are moving along. All right, stay tuned.